What a great way to kick off business news this evening, Samawati Band. And this first business story might also be music to your ears. The Kenya Railways Corporation has completed the first phase of its commuter rail transport with the opening of the Maradaima Railway Station by retired President Daniel Arap Moi. Adelaide Changole attended the launch and filed this report.
The opening of the Imara Daima station marks the culmination of Kenya Railway Corporation Phase 1 expansion of the Nairobi commuter rail transport. As one of the facilities to mark Kenya's 50th birthday, retired President Daniel Moi presided over its launch. The commuter train is part of the wider scheme by the national government to ease Nairobi residents' burden of traffic jam.
It is now my pleasure to declare Imara Daima railway station officially opened.
The ambitious commuter projects was started late last year with the Syokimau railway station. This was joined by Makadara station on Monday and Imara Daima. With the three stations, the Railway Corporation expects to break even on a project that has given it a lifeline. However, the corporation maintains that its current focus is more inclined towards service delivery than financial returns.
It is not money making that guides Kenya Railways. It is service to the people.
The train service is now expected to serve over 20,000 Kenyans daily, hence reducing traffic jams, which are a common occurrence on city roads today.
In a train carriage, you can only watch the traffic jams on Nairobi through the window of your coach.
The corporation now says it is training its eyes on a new set of stations across Nairobi County, as well as sourcing for an electric train to improve its services in the coming days.
When railway was introduced early 19th century, it was called Karila Moshi. I don't know what you will call this. Maybe maybe Karila steamer.
The Imara Daima railway station will be able to handle 2,000 passengers a day, giving residents of Embakasi and Mombasa Road an alternative modes of transport to town. But those using the railway have been urged not to misuse and abuse the facilities by throwing trash and vandalizing the same, and instead handle them with care and caution. Adelaide Changole, KTN Business.
You're watching KTN Prime, our special Kenya at 50 edition. As you can see, we have coverage all over the country, and Uhuru Gardens is one of the areas we're definitely covering. We'll be bringing you more on what's happening there later. But right now, Kenya has announced plans to domesticate the recently signed East African Community Monetary Protocol. Spread over a 10-year period, the domestication is expected to lead to Kenya and her neighbors adopting a single currency by the year 2023. Joy Doreen Bira with the details.
The signing of the East African Monetary Protocol in Uganda's capital Kampala last month ushered the region in uncharted but ambitious waters. The deal, if the 5 member states stay true to it, will see the community become the first region on the continent to have a single currency, and Kenya says it's ready to roll it out.
The customs union was signed and it's being implemented. The Common Market Protocol was also signed and is being implemented.
Also provided at least 3 countries will form a monetary union.
The rollout phase, spread over a period of 10 years, will see the creation of a single central bank, as well as keep fiscal deficit of less than 3%, maintain an inflation rate ceiling of 8%, among other financial market requirements. All these are expected to generate immense benefits to the East African economies.
But the idea of converging is precisely that, is that these 10 years is to ensure that each country works towards common, targets.
In Europe, where the Eurozone crisis was a result of some countries in the Euro area being unable to repay or refinance their government debt without the assistance of their third parties, the East African Monetary Union says to avoid a similar crisis, a surveillance commission is to be formed to manage economic shocks in case false information is given.
There will be an annual program or each country working to ensure that they develop a program to achieve the targets.
The East African Monetary Union Protocol Agreement, as signed by Kenya, Uganda and Rwanda, in a tripartite agreement will require states to achieve macroeconomic convergence, fixed exchange rates and external policy. Joy Doreen Bira, KTN Business.
The Financial Report.
Well, that look at how the financial markets played out today winds up our business news this evening. We're going to take a quick break, but stay with us on KTN Prime. So much more ahead.
KTN Business, in association with Safaricom Self-Care.
To get your M-Pesa statement, PUK, Bongo Points and more without calling customer care or visiting a Safaricom shop, simply log on to www.safaricom.co.ke and click on Self-Care.
Welcome back and many thanks for staying with us. This is Kenya at 50, our special celebrations of Kenya's Golden Jubilee celebrations. Of course, the pictures you can see on your screen is happenings at Uhuru Gardens, where we are expecting the head of state to be making his way there to hoist that national flag. And of course, performances are currently ongoing. That is where Kenyans will be partying until morning time for celebrating the Jamhuri Day celebrations. And of course, let's now take a look at what's happening in the world of sports in connection with the Kenya's Golden Jubilee celebrations. And the Sekafa Senior Challenge Cup finals will be part of the Kenya at 50 celebrations as Kenya plays South Sudan at the Nyayo National Stadium, where President Uhuru Kenyatta is expected to also attend. Fans will pay 300 shillings for the terraces and 600 shillings for the VIP. Things in the North Rift. Marcy.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, Ben. It's Kenya at 50. And here in the North Rift region, especially in Uasin Gishu County, tomorrow there will be celebrations at the 64 Stadium within the town. The county governor, Jackson Mandago, will address residents from that stadium as the county celebrates 50 years of independence. And just a few milestones that the county or the region has made so far include the Eldoret town being the city of champions, producing prominent names like David Rudisha, Ezekiel Kemboi, Pamela Jalimo, Kipchoge Keino, just to mention but a few. And also in the neighboring county, Elgeyo Marakwet, which prides itself as being the home of champions, also known for its high altitude training areas and enabling Kenya to, be put in the international map for these renowned athletes. The neighboring county to Nandi County also prides itself in producing one of the leaders who fought for independence, this being Koitalel Arap Samoe. And we spoke to his grandson, who said that the Nandi resisted the colonialists for a record 15 years, although it's recorded in the books as 11 years. And Turkana County will also boast 50 years and just recently discovered oil and also aquifer that is set to, feed Kenya for the next 70 years. So yes, Kitili, as Kenya celebrates 50 years of independence, then we do have a lot as a region to take pride in. I will now hand you over to Yvonne Okwara, who's at Uhuru Gardens. Yvonne?
Weka shida chini na tupa mikono juu. Pa, pa, pa. Ah, yeah. Pa, pa, pa. I see you. Pa, pa, pa. Weka shida chini na tupa mikono juu.
Right, and we are here at the Uhuru Gardens, where you can hear the music is loud. We're expecting the president any moment now. But I think we need to talk to someone who makes 50 years so significant. He just had to be here today because he was here 50 years ago. And we're speaking to rally driver Anwar Khan. Thank you so much for joining us. And we're going to try and shout so that we can hear each other because the music here is quite loud. But thank you for joining us. Tell us about why you had to come here today.
That's really a privilege for me to be here today because I was here 50 years ago in 1963 when our late found.
How old were you then?
I was 15 years old, 16 years old, and I can remember very well that this was the exact place, though it looks a bit more,
is it for you to be here 50 years later?
It's a privilege.
Why did you have to come here today?
No, I think really it's a privilege that I'm here tonight after 50 years when the founding father raised our Kenyan national flag here, and today his son. I mean, it's really something which has never happened in any part of
Okay,
the world.
all right. Well, you'd have to lift your mic a little bit so we can hear you. But what is interesting is people talk about being Kenyan. People talk about being Kenyan 50 years on. What does it mean for you? You have quite some mixed heritage that we can talk about.
Well, see, Kenya really, we as Kenyans, we are people who, this is the third or fourth generation in Kenya. And our forefathers really did contribute. If you go to the National Museum of Kenya and see part of the history, they contributed quite a bit, like the construction of the railway line from Mombasa to the Nairobi, the United Line. And they really contributed a lot towards the development of this nation.
Indeed, and let's just talk a bit about your family, because it's quite an interesting heritage that we've got from your family. We were talking a little earlier, and I think a lot of our viewers would love to know how important this day is for you as a Kenyan.
You see, as a Kenyan, we are very much Kenyans. My father was the only Indian, I think, who came here in the early last century and married two Masai women.
Interesting.
And my brother, eldest brother, has just finished writing a book which is in publication now, from the Pashtun land to the Malayan, how my father came from Afghanistan to Kenya and married two Masai women. And we have a long history of being Kenyans, and we are really humbled to be Kenyans. We are very proud to be.
Okay.
You see, like we have contributed, I have worked here in
Okay.
all my life.
All right, Anwar, I'll have to cut you short because of the loud music, but we will come back because this is an interesting conversation that we must definitely continue to have here. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Speaking to Anwar Khan, and we will definitely get back to that conversation with him. Obviously, a very interesting heritage that he's got here. Being here 50 years ago, and now, once again, we want to take you to Mercy Kandia, who's in Eldoret, to tell us what the preparations are in Eldoret. Mercy?
Yes, thank you very much, Yvonne. And like the celebrations that is on your side and very loud music, Eldoret town is a bit calm right now, so maybe tomorrow we will be able to see a few celebrations here and there, maybe just individual people organizing their own, tomorrow being a public holiday. But again, what is of importance to note here at the region, in regard to also the silence that is here, Eldoret town and the North Rift at large will also take pride in healing from the past wounds of the 2007-2008 post-election violence. It was known that then
Those are live pictures coming to you first from Uru Gardens here in Nairobi, and of course from Eldoret in the county of Uasin Gishu, where Mercy Kandia has been, of course, updating us on the preparations. Kenyans in the in the North Rift, of course, preparing to mark this big day. We do apologize for that technical hitch, which will take you to Eldoret once we get a reconnection with Mercy. And of course, you are continuing with us here. We have our team at the Uhuru Gardens, the historic Uhuru Gardens, as Yvonne Okwara has told us just a few moments ago. The president is expected there any time, and of course that's the main event of the day, the eve of Kenya's birthday, to hoist that Kenyan flag again where it was done 50 years ago. Indeed, many thanks for staying with us. And Mercy, when President Uhuru and other dignitaries from all over the world will grace the 50 years of independence celebrations, one man who will have entertained them will be bundled back in a prison vehicle under tight security and escorted back to his cell.
That's right. Ronald Muchia is serving a life sentence in committee and will be among those invited to sing during the celebrations.
Here's the story of Committee Prisons Choir.
Behind these closed doors is a group of inmates who have been rehearsing for the last 3 months, putting in 4 hours of intense practice daily. Putting on their best foot, putting on their best,
they are hoping that the nation will love their performance tomorrow. Putting on their best, they are hoping that the nation will love their performance tomorrow. The sound check and all is ready for tomorrow. Here, where most of the prisoners are serving either life sentence or have been sentenced to death, they hang on to hope that one day they'll be free. James Nganga, who is serving 20 years, has high hopes for these 50th celebrations.
Tunaona kwamba ni mwaka wa Jubilee. Vile pia tunaona kwamba tumepewa hii chance ya kuperform mbele ya Wakenya wote, kumaanisha kwamba hata wafungwa wakiwa ndani ya jela kuna kile kitu wamepokea, wamefundishwa na walimu wao, na tumefundishwa na tukakubali kurekebika.
As they dance and sing their hearts out in celebration. Ronald Mochia, who was convicted with robbery with violence, has reconciled with his past and is currently serving a life sentence.
Huu ni wakati wa kila Mkenya na kila mwananchi wa Kenya. Tunapoenda kukamilisha miaka 50 ya utaifa wetu tangu tulipojinyakulia uhuru. Kila mwananchi akajua kwamba mambo haya ni kwa ajili ya Mungu, si kwa ajili ya mtu yoyote.
The Correctional Department will join the nation in celebrating 50 years of independence as they are invited to perform at the Kasarani Stadium.
Prisoners have prepared songs of Jubilee. Prisoners have been rejoicing and are happy because of the blessings and also because of the hope that they have in life.
As Kenyans mark 50 years of independence, a group of inmates from this prison are set to make history as they entertain and showcase their talent to the nation. Winnie Kamau, KTN at Committee Maximum Prison.
Thank you indeed, Winnie. And now let's take you back to a story of the Kapenguria 6. Of course, it is a story that is inked in the Kenyan history books. They were very important six states, so to speak, and of course they took part in the struggle for Kenya's independence. Let's take a look at that story by KTN's Catherine Omando.
Kenyatta was being held with the other 5 detainees here in Kapenguria. He wasn't very trusting of the people around him, so he requested for 3 African administration policemen to look after him, to cook for him, and to make sure that he was safe. Paul Onyang was one of those 3. His memory may be a little faded, but 91-year-old Paul Onyang still remembers what happened in 1952.
Kenyatta naandika kartasi ya mboga, ya nyama, ya marakwe. Sasa namwambia disi abanda polisi naenda kuletea chakula. Polisi ni watu haramu. Pengine nitaweka dawa chakula yangu. Ndio sisi kaenda kulete, na mwingine analeta marakwe, mwingine analeta mboga, mwingine analeta nyama, na kuja kumpa Paulo ngei ile na hapa
For 6 months, as Jomo Kenyatta and the other 5 detainees were held here in Kapenguria, Paul took care of the man that would become Kenya's first president.
Hapana, kusisi kusimama tu na Kenyatta anapiga kisuruti, si napiga suruti, Kenyatta anapiga suruti kama napita tu.
Guarding the cells of the Kapenguria 6 gave him access to information only the 6 were privy to.
Kenyatta mwambia DC, abana taka majari ya kuja kesi yangu. Hiyo ni umbwa. Bana taka atina kuja samama na mimi. Bana taka. Basi. Msumu mmoja alikuwa Garissa na mwambia msichana mmoja anaitwa Nyambura. Naandikia barua ati kwenda kuwa msaiti kuwa pamoja na macharia.
The colonialists brought the 6 to Kapenguria because it was a closed district at the time. Indigenous Kenyans needed a special pass to come in or out of the district. Though some would have assumed native administration police are British loyalists, Paul was not. This was proved when the 6 were being transported to their jail cells in Lokitang in Turkana.
Ilikuwa nataka kuwa wasungu wale ilikuwa Kitale, wale kichana mbili ilikuwa nataka saa ile ndege nakuja kuchukua Kenyatta, ilikuwa nataka kupika na pistola. Na Kenyatta nasema kwa upande hii namwambia DC yuko Kenyatta kichana mbili na ngoja mimi huko Kitale kesho nataka piga mimi na pistola mzuri, mwambie askari ende atangulia kuangalia hawa. Ndo ndege ilikuja kuchukua Kenyatta kama askari wale yuko msituni. Ndio kupita kuangoja saa ile nataka kuingia mtoka na bega Kenyatta anakuja na ndege anakuja kuchukua Kenyatta. Kaenda wale na sanga sasa askari na ndama askari wale kunyang'anya pistola hiyo.
That was the last time Paul Anyong saw Kenyatta face to face.
Bado kutana yeta wakati naleta kutoka Lolo halafu nakuwa rais. Ndio mimi napeleka mimi mbali napeleka huko mali naitwa Lotongo, napeleka mimi pale naitwa Chiseko, napeleka mimi mali naita na Solot, napeleka mimi huko Kachalipa. Sasa Kenyatta anakusa toka.
Paul represents the Kenyans who made even the tiniest contribution in Kenya's history that led to where we are today. Back to you, studio.
Thank you, Catherine Omando there, coming to you, of course, from Kapenguria in the north of the country. Of course, that is where the founding father, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, and the 5 key political figures, the likes of Bildad Gagia, Kungu Karumba, Chengoneko, and Paul Ngei, were, of course, detained when they were arrested on the 20th of October 1952. And of course, everybody now will be wanting to be part of this big event as Kenya turns 50 years, which will be happening in about an hour's time from now, as happened back in 1963. And of course, there are many performances that are lined up, both for tonight, we're on the eve of the Kenya's 50th birthday, and of course tomorrow, and the main event, Jamhuri Day, on the 12th of December this year. We are expecting the president anytime. Those are live pictures coming to you live from Uhuru Gardens, where, of course, as we speak, performances are ongoing. And many people will be wanting to be part of these celebrations. Many performers across the country will be wanting to perform. And a group from Mombasa is, of course, one such group. They were supposed to be performing during this year's 50th birthday celebrations, but their names are missing. What is their plight? KTN's Ferdinand Omondi tells us that story from Mombasa.
The Cultural Women Action for Peace Choir built out one of the tunes they had composed for Kenya's Jubilee celebrations. The women hoped to be part of the entertainers set to perform at Nyayo Stadium tomorrow, but a last-minute cancellation has left a bitter taste. According to the chairlady, Lady Luck struck during the Mombasa International Show a few months ago when they entertained Presidents Uhuru Kenyatta, Yoweri Museveni, and Paul Kagame.
Tulipokuwa perform pale airport, Rais alifurahishwa sana na hii kwaya yetu pamoja na bandi yetu, na akatuhusisha, akasema tuende kwa 50 years tukaperform.
After that informal invitation, sustained preparations began for the December 12th. They each forked out 5,000 shillings to buy matching kitenge outfits. They rehearsed with the band for 12 days at a cost of 12,000 shillings per session.
Sasa tuna miezi miwili tunakutana tukiimba. Na ni wamama kutoka sehemu mbalimbali. Wengine wanatoka Kilifi, wengine wanatoka Mariakani, wengine Kaloleni, wengine Mtwapa, wengine Likoni, wengine Mtongwe. Wakenya sote jamaa kwa pamoja.
Mama Priscilla says the songs she composed had been approved by the administration. She added all seemed well coordinated until yesterday.
Tulipoenda kuuliza gari kule ndio tukaambiwa kwamba bado mambo yetu yanashughulikiwa. Tukaona hii ni last minute na bado hatujapangwa.
She says what followed were frantic follow-ups that included calls to State House protocol, and after several hours of waiting, the answer was like a kick in the teeth.
Tukaambiwa kwamba sisi eti hatuendi, nafasi imekosekana.
All they want to know was what happened between the time they got the said presidential invite and the cancellation.
Kama rais amesema hawa mama njooni mbele ya mheshimiwa Balala na mbele ya PC, inaweza kukanseliwa, tujue.
As it stands now, while millions will be following Kenya's Jubilee celebrations, the women drawn from all 42 tribes in Kenya, will be mulling over a missed chance, wasted time and money. They still hope a bus can be sent their way so that they can travel to Nairobi and sing the song they composed for Kenya's Jubilee celebrations. Ferdinand Mondi, KTN, Mombasa.
You're watching our special coverage of Kenya at 50 here on KTN. We're so glad you are still with us. And we're going to go back to Samawati Band now. Some people were actually tweeting saying they should be given more time. So it looks like your wish has been granted.